We can begin.
Okay, perfect. We're going to call to order the Reno City Council meeting today, August 12th at 10 a.m. We'll get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. If I can ask Mr. Salcido if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. Thank you, sir. With that, we'll move on to roll call, Madam Clerk.
We are calling roll for the Wednesday, August 12th, 2026 Reno City Council meeting. Councilmember Taylor? Here. Councilmember Dewar?
Here.
Vice Mayor Martinez?
Here.
Councilmember Ebert?
Here.
Councilmember Reese?
Here.
Councilmember Anderson?
Here.
Mayor Sheevy is absent at this time. You do have a quorum.
Okay, great. Thank you. With that, we'll move on with our first section of public comment. If you can lead us there, please.
Yes. Mr. Vice Mayor, our first item today is public comment. It should be noted for those in attendance that comments are to be addressed to the mayor and council as a whole. Comments heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the council's agenda. Council may not take action upon any matter not agendized on today's agenda. When you are called on for public comment, please state your name for the record and begin speaking. The timer will begin when you say your name, and you will be afforded 3 minutes. For those participating in chambers, in accordance with Council Rules 6.3.11, while in this room, please be respectful. Disruptive behavior from audience members like clapping, yelling, whistling, etc., which impede the meeting may result in a warning issued by the presiding officer. If the behavior continues, you may be removed from chambers. If you are an attendee in the Zoom meeting and would like to make public comment, please raise your hand at this time. Terry Brooks, followed by George Campagnoni.
Good morning, it's me, Terry Brooks again. And today I'd like to share with you my thoughts on scams and what seniors go through. Seniors have learned to deal with people when they've been face to face. They knew a scammer when they saw one, but today that's not the case. Now scammers mostly do their scamming online. If something seems too good to be true, that's probably a warning sign. Scammers usually target the elderly who are more isolated, so elderly people are at more risks to wind up devastated. People who regularly have a lot of social interaction are more likely to be warned about scamming information. And if people share with friends all that information, they wind up with more information by friendly intervention. When people know a lot about scams before they are targeted, they're less likely to fall for scams if or when they were targeted. When you might be facing a scam and having a little suspicion, you might consider reporting it to help on an investigation. Scammers like to post their scams with what looks like official details and target their victims by sending them emails. And if you purchase something, be careful as to what way you purchase it and how you are manipulated to pay. Seniors seem to be more susceptible when it comes to modern technology, especially when it comes to scams used by modern criminology. And when seniors are victims of scams because they didn't know what to do, then when they realize that they were just scammed, they still might not know what to do. I don't use much modern technology. I do things face to face. So if someone wants to try to scam me, just let me pick the place. I would like to thank you all for listening to me today, and I look forward to coming back if I don't get scammed that day. Thank you.
Thank you.
George Campagnoni.
Hi, how are you all doing? George Campagnoni is my name, 301 Gentry Way, Unit 302. Basically, I'm here to tell you that I didn't disappear, okay? And I do have a lawsuit going with against Carzaz. Actually, I'm suing Juliana Holloway personally, all right? Carzaz is representing her. And my first attempt at a lawsuit was this. Okay? And basically, this was what legal aid said, oh, that'll work. And it said what I said. I mean, this is what I said, okay? But they ripped it apart and said, bullshit, okay, excuse the word, but our president uses it all the time. So I had to find help. Mr. Reese was a civil lawyer, but he's no help. Mr. Martinez tried to help me, okay? But our district attorney, they don't help people like us, okay? We have laws on the books, but they don't do anything about them. So I did find, okay, a tool that helped me produce a claim, okay, a lawsuit. And basically, right here is what does it all, says it all, this cause of action, all right? Plaintiff realleges incorporates the preceding paragraphs as fully set forth herein. Under NRS 118.8.502, a tenant may obtain injunctive relief and recover actual damages if a landlord makes an unlawful entry in an unreasonable manner or makes a repeated demand for entry that unreasonably harass the tenant. Plaintiff alleges the defendant conduct, including repeated demands for access, attempted entry by passkey after written objection, and inserted emergencies without adequate justification, constitutes unlawful entry in an unreasonable manner, or repeated demands for entry that unreasonably harass plaintiff within a meaning of NRS 118A. That is what I needed to have, okay, with this too, my little thing that I had. I didn't have a cause, all right, but I do now. I have a complete, and also I have all the exhibits that go along with what I've put in here, all right? So I have a complete lawsuit now. Now I'm waiting for Judge Hardy to say something. He has not said anything on my case, has not done anything since I filed, all right? And there has not been too much. But what I also want to state before I go here, and I really want to show you this, is we are having, Mr. Martinez, a problem with cars parking on the sidewalk. This here is Pisano's, all right? This was just a few minutes ago, but this started with these cars here, and if you talk to Jennifer Alvarez, she started, okay, a ticket for me that shows a sewage truck.
Thank you, sir.
Parked on the sidewalk, all right?
Thank you.
We then, I know I'm going too far, but I got to finish this, all right? They went out and they put an orange sticker on it, which I have on the 18th of June, or June, all right? They actually put a sticker on it.
Your time's
which
up,
I can
sir.
show.
I've given you 30 seconds over your time.
What's that?
I've given you 30 seconds over your time.
Okay.
I'm going to have to cut you off.
All right, okay.
We can talk after. Thank you.
All right, whatever. You know something, you better get Paisano to get his truck off the street, all
Thank
right?
you, sir. Thank
Because
you.
I got all the other trucks off the street.
Can we move on to the next item or
Whatever.
next speaker, Madam Clerk?
Sir, your backpack.
It's your ward. You better take care of it.
With that, we do not have anyone else registered to speak. We did receive 7 comments, which were general in nature or not directly associated with an agenda item prior to 4 p.m. yesterday, August 11th. These comments were written correspondence received via our Reno.gov online public comment form or by email to our office. Copies of these comments have been distributed to the Reno City Council and are available to the public on the Reno.gov meeting portal. And I think we have a proclamation.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to move into the proclamation. I think Councilmember Reese is going to help us. with
Apologies,
that.
we just got someone on Zoom, if we could take that really
Oh,
quick.
okay, yeah.
Yes,
Well,
Chelsea G.
Councilmember makes his way. We'll do that.
perfect. Chelsea G via Zoom.
Howdy, good morning. For the record, my name is Chelsea Guerin, and I want to speak to item B4, or 14 rather, on the agenda with the electrolyte packets from a couple different corporations for Reno police staff. Is this also being offered to Reno city ambassadors who are out and about picking up trash, doing what else that they do, because I see them walking around downtown Reno quite frequently, and I don't know how well hydrated they are. How about our firefighters? Are they also receiving these free electrolyte packets from this corporation? Or is this only for Reno police? This not okay. It needs to be for everybody who's a city staff member or a department associated with the city who are outside, that all get this, not just for the police department. I have another comment that is related to comments by a sitting council member who sits on the Northern Nevada Public Health Board. On July 23rd, in a meeting about the REMSA amendment agreement to the franchise agreement already in effect, Devin Reese used the words, and I quote, "You've used the words clear, transparent, reactive, lack of information. Those words don't mean a whole lot to me. Those are buzzwords that are speaking to something which I'm not sure what it is." I take issue with Devin Reese saying that because he is also on the city council where y'all have been asked, demanded, requested to come up with regulations for the city with regard to data centers, to be more clear, to be more transparent. So what is he saying? That he actually doesn't believe in being clear, transparent, and providing information to residents who are asking for more? That for an attorney, that's really a backhanded comment to another board member on that Northern Nevada Board of Health. Y'all, I'm exhausted with this bullshit. Thank you.
And there's no one else registered.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to the public proclamation. Councilmember Reese.
Mr. Vice Mayor, thank you so much, and good morning to you and to each of my colleagues. I know Madam Mayor is on her way and is dealing with some of the regional issues this morning, so it's my privilege to be here today to read a proclamation, but I think we have some special guests here today, and so I wanted to invite them up. Juliana Glock, where are you? Hi.
Hi.
Come on up here with me. It looks like you've got some friends who came with you.
I do.
Why are they all here?
I have no idea
Were
why
you
they're all
making a
here.
presentation to us this morning? Well, come
think
sit up here with me
so.
for a minute.
Wow.
Why don't we
Oh
bring
my
up some of your
gosh.
friends and family too? Because I'd like them to be with you on this
All
occasion.
right, friends and family.
Come on, friends and family, come up. I know we've got some people recording and they want to stay where they're seated. That's okay. But all the friends and family, come on down. Because today is a very important day. I don't think Juliana
Oh my
knew what
gosh.
we were doing, but I'm going to read some things that the mayor
Okay.
asked me to share with you.
Okay.
And your friends and family are coming forward to spend this time with you, and then we're going to turn the mic over to you.
Okay.
So this says, whereas Juliana Glock has demonstrated exceptional dedication, professionalism, and perseverance through countless hours of diligent work on the Highway 40 housing project, and whereas Juliana Glock, through her tireless efforts, exceptional attention to detail, and unwavering commitment in navigating the many challenges of the Highway 40 housing project, made significant contributions to the successful completion and lasting positive impact of the project, thereby enhancing the quality of life and strengthening the community of Reno. And whereas Ms. Glock has consistently exemplified teamwork, innovation, and an exceptional commitment to excellence, inspiring colleagues and strengthening the organization as a whole. Now, therefore, I, Devin Reese, on behalf of Hillary Sheevy, Mayor of the City of Reno, Nevada, do hereby proudly declare August 12th, 2026 as Juliana Glock Day in and for the City of Reno, as we proudly recognize and commend Juliana for her outstanding service, extraordinary dedication, and knowledge and invaluable contributions to the success of Highway 40.
Oh my gosh.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you you so much. I'm like gonna cry. This is such an honor. I'm kind of in shock right now. So I want to thank whoever, all the people who recommended me for this proclamation and those who approved it. Thank you so much. This is so humbling because honestly, I've worked for Volunteers of America for 20 years, and Highway 40 has been my favorite project, the most rewarding, and probably the project that I'm most proud of in my whole career with Volunteers of America. I certainly didn't do it by myself. This is an example of true community collaboration, starting with the city of Reno and your commitment to develop affordable housing in our community, and the state of Nevada for their commitment to develop permanent supportive housing. Jackie, you and Christy, and Judge Lou, this was like your idea that got this started, so thank you so much. The J.D. Kleppenstein with the Reno Housing Authority, he was there in the beginning and helped me, learn all about the CMAR process. This was so new to me. And, I had a whole team helping me, our VOA's board of directors for their belief in this project and ensuring that we create healthy communities for all. And I think last but not least, Travis Sandifer, without his leader and guidance, I definitely could not have done this. I honestly think he should be up here accepting this with me. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is such an honor. Thank you so, so much.
Well, we're inspired by you. Thank you so much. This is for you, and we're going to take some pictures up here, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Wow. And I should thank my family and for being here. Thank you. I'm like, wow.
Come on up, front and center.
Yeah, I'll take a photo of everybody. One, two, and three. This one. One, two, three.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep it in my car just in case.
Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any other public commenters?
If you'd like to let this gentleman
Yeah.
speak. Okay, then we'll. And then I did want to note for the record that Mayor Sheevy joined us remotely at 10:12.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Oh, all right. Juliana, I don't know if you are still in the room. Are you there?
She's here.
I am still here. If you can.
Okay, I am so sorry I couldn't be there this morning, but I will tell you this. I met with so many people that said what a hero you are, how dedicated you are to the city. And I think we have a lot of people working in the background that we never get to recognize. Your leadership is absolutely outstanding. And you stood up there and thanked others. And I just want you to know how impressive you are and how many people love you. They all came to me and said, this woman absolutely deserves recognition. We couldn't be more proud of you and the hard work that you put in. But clearly you are a leader by thanking others. And I just want you to know there's a lot of people out there that love you, girl. And I just think your family, your friends, your colleagues should all be so very proud. But we wanted to surprise you. We kind of like to catch you a little off guard, but just know this is very well deserved.
Thank you so, so much. Honestly, it almost made me cry. This is such an honor. Like I said, I'm so humbled by this. I don't even feel like I deserve this because I do it because I love it. So, but thank you so, so much. Thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome, and you are so, so deserving. So please reach out. Love to take you to lunch and celebrate with you. You're an amazing woman. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Okay.
Hillary, please.
Congratulations again. I think we have one more public comment.
Yes, James Matthews.
Okay.
So yes, this goes out to the city manager. So, okay, all the times that I've been coming up here complaining about the harassment and all the stuff that I was experiencing over here, you guys knew about it the whole time. You guys knew about the employee that works here, that it's an inclusion with everybody in my building that stalks and harasses and tortures me. You guys knew this stuff the whole time and allowing them. I want all the black people to know that racism is still real here. They are playing dirty and they do dirty things, and they are trying to get me evicted out of my apartment right now. Like they wrecked my car, they did a home invasion. They physically set me up and had me physically attacked. And every time I came up here and addressed it, everybody's sitting up there talking, oh no, we're so sorry, we'd help you. And then those people over there, they come over there and act like they're gonna help you, and then they disappears. Nothing ever happens. They act like they gonna do something in your face right here, and then 2-3 days later, boom, nothing gone. And everything is still the same, and the same employees that are here still doing the retaliation I gotta deal with. So we need to deal with this right now. What is the problem? Can't talk?
Sir, it's not an iterative process. This is your opportunity to talk to
Okay,
us. We don't have to correspond with you. You could,
Okay, so yeah, I'm James Matthews. Everybody knows who I am here. The problem is with the employee here that works here, it's in collusion with these neighbors in my building. They hack my phone. They call everybody that I talk to. They set up all kinds. They do. Man, this is abuse of power. And the security manager, Chris, he knows. They know over there. Man, a couple of the people, they know what's going on, man. Leave me alone, man, please. What is it that you want from me? Thank you.
thank you.
There's no one else signed in.
Thank you so much. With that, look, we will move on to an approval of the agenda. Are there any updates, Madam?
No, there is not. Thank you.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. With that, we'll look for an approval of the minutes. You're good. We caught it. Thank you.
Madam, or Mr. Vice Mayor, move to approve item A51, the Reno City Council special minutes from July 16, 2026, as
Second.
written.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Aye.
With that, we will look for any consent item pools. We'll start with Councilmember Anderson.
Nothing today, thank
Yeah,
you.
Councilmember Taylor.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I need to pull item B8.
Councilmember Reese.
Nothing, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Councilmember Dewar.
Nothing today, thanks.
Yeah, Councilmember Ebert.
I was also going to pull B8. That's the only item for me.
Okay, Madam Mayor, do you have any items?
No, thank you.
Move to approve all remaining items.
Second.
Perfect. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. With that, we will move on to item B8. Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, Madam Mayor, fellow city council members, and Madam Clerk. I am disclosing that HDR Engineering is a current client of my consulting firm, Tailor-Made Solutions. Items B8 involve the approval of a consulting agreement in the amount of a little over $2.8 million. Because I have a substantial and continuing basis relationship with HDR, I have been advised that I have a commitment in a private capacity to the interests of HDR. and that the independence of judgment of a reasonable person in my situation would be materially affected by my current contracts with HDR. I will not be participating or voting on this item today. Madam Clerk, please accept this disclosure and lodge it on the record for this meeting pertaining to these agenda items. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Ebert, I think you had a question. We'll just wait until Councilmember Taylor steps off of the dais. If you want to jump in there with your questions or comments, Councilmember Ebert.
Yeah, if I can get a high-level overview and just go over the cost. I know that this is a large-scale project. There's a lot of questions from constituents in my ward regarding this. So if we could just get some information on the council meeting, on the record, just to inform people that maybe have not read the staff reports or are not interested in reading the staff reports, just a real high level review of what the $2+ million will be paying for.
Sorry, the nick of time. Good morning, Mayor, Council, Nick Brothers, Senior Civil Engineer with Utility Services. A quick overview of this item. B8 is professional service agreement with HDR Engineering to support the construction of APWF. They're providing staff augmentation to the city. This project's really dynamic and very involved. We need 100% on the ground staff throughout the 36-month construction period. So that's what they'll be doing. This item was budgeted as a part of the $266 million that was presented in May 20th and was budgeted for the construction total. So that's what the item will be for and what they'll be doing. Any questions?
Yes, will this be a prevailing wage project?
Yes, the project is prevailing wage, which will apply to all those positions where that applies.
Okay, and this is just for the construction. This is not long-term employment. This is just to get through the process of building the facilities.
Correct.
Okay, and it's not for like management of the project. It's for the actual people constructing it, correct?
No, so HDR is providing professional engineering services to support construction management. We have a number of professional roles involved with managing the construction, and this particular role is owner representation, which will mean that they're there, they're being our eyes and ears on the job the whole time, keeping us apprised of any issues in this construction that would impact delivery of the project or potentially budget, schedule, technical issues that arise that need to be resolved. They would escalate those to other city staff in our department.
Okay, thank you very much for this information. And it's not chlorine storage, it's not chemical storage, it's not the purchase of chemicals, correct?
Nope, just the professional services agreement.
Thank you. Thanks for just helping me get that out there onto YouTube. I appreciate you. I'll make a motion to approve unless there's any other questions.
Second.
We got a motion and a second for item B8. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to our C items. I believe we have President and CEO of United Way, Mr. Blake Pang, here with us to give us a guest presentation. Yeah, if you'd like to join us up here. Staff will pull up your presentation. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Vice Mayor Martinez and our wonderful members of the City Council and Mayor Shivi online. My name is Blake Pang. My name is Blake Pang. I'm the president and CEO of United Way of Northern Nevada. I'm proud to be here today to give you a rundown on some of our programming that is likely germane to the work that you're doing as our representatives out here and across the great city of Reno. So with that, oh, there we go. So with that, just a quick overview of United Way. Our mission, as it has been for over 80 years, is to unite communities to improve people's lives. Our work is really as a community problem solver. to find opportunities across our communities that, or to find issues that no one organization can solve by itself. We bring people, organizations, families, individuals together to create innovative solutions to solve some of these deeper problems. With that, some of our greatest values are our ability to look at things collectively, to bring those organizations together and kind of walk everybody down the same road towards solving some big issues. We have passion. We want to make sure that the work that we do is sustainable. We always have a growth mindset. We're always trying to grow the movement across our communities. And of course, that transparency and accountability that we've always been famous for throughout our 80-year organizational history. Really, when we're talking about being a community problem solver, it really brings us down to the notion that United Way listens to our entire community. We bring people together either in community conversations or we sit down with them. We go out to communities that are most underserved and ask them, what are the things that are challenging you most? What are the things that are stopping you from being able to live the lives that you wanna live? And from there, we understand the actions that we need to provide. One reminder is that we are a completely local organization. United Way, as a network and as a movement, is the world's oldest and largest charity. But every United Way is owned by its community. So I, as President and CEO, only report to a local board of directors, and thank you to the Vice Mayor for being one of them. We are an organization that is driven by its mission that you've heard earlier. We kind of look at ourselves as a community activator, knowing that we can't do everything. We can't be everything to everybody like we had in the past. Our work now is to figure out what are those big problems and how can we bring the right players along to solve those issues. And finally, we are an advocate. We try to tell the story across our communities. As you've seen most recently, we've been doing a lot of posts about how to support our neighbors during these fires. I know all of you here have been doing the same. It's my pleasure to announce that a bunch of the philanthropic organizations across our community are getting together. Actually, they're doing it right now. They're having a conversation on standing up the disaster fund for this year's fires. If you remember, during the Davis fires, United Way stood it up, and this year it's going to be Community Foundation of Northern Nevada with our friends from the Catholic Charities and Red Cross kind of acting as the big consultants for that. So you'll likely see some information about that sometime this afternoon. So going into what does United Way do, what are some of the special things that we do? Originally, you asked me to come here and talk about our SAFE program. So that stands for the Special Assistance Fund for Emergencies, of which I'll talk about a little bit more in detail later. But kind of the big hitters is that last year, we were able to provide $340,000 of service. So that means that with this specific fund, it's actually a utility assistance fund. It was originally created by our friends from NV Energy Foundation about a handful of years ago. And last year, they asked United Way to take it on as the administrator for it. The NV Energy Foundation continues to be the leader, the lead fundraiser and the lead sponsor for the program, and we thank them so much. And they also help us to open up doors with other utilities so that when we have one of our partners working with a client, family, or household who needs a utility assistance because they're getting bills and they're starting to get shut-off notices, those partner agencies can not just help them with their NV Energy bills, they can help them with, in essence, all of the various utility bills here in Washoe County. So we also thank all of the other utility providers in the area for being on board with that. But it really has been NV Energy kind of leading the way, empowering us through this thing. Like I said earlier, last year, we, in essence, paid for about $340,000 worth of overdue bills, helping folks who were in dire straits over this last year, especially with how as we all know, things have gone over the last year for a lot of our most needy families. This equated to roughly about 900 families who received this assistance. What we are trying to do is grow it even further. So we have coverage across our entire 13-county region. We do this through partner agencies who do the case management with these households. The Washoe County Family Resource Center is the partner here in Washoe County. In addition, we wanted to talk to you about some of our other programs. We have a new innovation called United Journeys. Some of you may have heard about our program called United Readers. So United Readers is a K-3 literacy intervention. It is an award-winning and likely the highest success rate literacy intervention across the entire nation. In the prior school year, we had 900 children who went all the way through the program, and we had a 96% success rate, measuring their literacy scores from the start of the year all the way to the end. So that's pretty impressive. On top of that, 86% of the children had at least a full level of improvement measured. So some pretty significant numbers. We're pretty proud of it. And that's where we started. Today, I'm proud to announce that United Way is launching a full-blown effort called United Journeys, which is really now transitioning what we learned with the very young children and taking that knowledge across the entire education spectrum, but primarily creating it or changing it into a workforce development program. So we are partnering with our friends at Dieter and Nevada Works to create a couple of new projects. The first one being what is called United Pathways. And this is a program that is going to help us to support youth mental health, which we've all been talking about for the last few years as well. We have a opportunity to train up to 25 AmeriCorps mentors in youth mental health, and also to get them all certified as community health workers. Most of them will get certification CHW1, but some of them will actually get up to level 2, and we're doing that with our friends at High Sierra AHEC. These mentors will then be assigned to various high schools across the region where they will in essence case study or case manage our disconnected youth, so roughly the age 16 to 21, who are kind of falling through the cracks and figuring out what kind of youth mental health services they require and getting them to those services. By the time that they have completed their school year with us, they'll have a whole year of employment and training under their belts, and we expect to be able to announce in a few months that they will all in essence, be placed at various organizations across our communities as community health workers, or at least using those CHW certifications. So it's a pretty impressive workforce development opportunity, but also we get to help these children who are most in need. The next program is called United Learners, and it is our move into adult basic education and high school equivalency. And we're also training many of our mentors who had been working with those very, very young children. So we're taking them and we're actually creating opportunities for them to not just do that for a 1 year or 2 year or 3 year time frame, but actually to make that literacy intervention, the interventionist opportunity, a career for them, so that for them to get placed at the various school districts and schools that they're helping us out with. So pretty exciting times. You're going to see United Way also announce some other big moves. United Way is actually moving over to the Reno Town Mall at the end of the month into a larger space where we're actually going to be able to provide meeting space for a lot of our friends too. So a lot of big things happening for United Way. We want to thank all of you, and I think that's my time. So any questions?
Yeah, we'll bring it to the body. See if anybody has any comments or questions. Councilmember Ebert, do you have anything?
No, thanks for checking.
Yeah, of course.
I just have one.
Yeah, Councilwoman Anderson.
Hi, Blake.
Hey.
I just met you last week.
I
Nice
know.
to see you again. I'm very interested in this workforce development program. Who are you bringing in to execute the community, or, the education? How is that being managed? I'm really fascinated by the groups that are coming in and helping us develop that workforce there.
Yeah, so it's kind of a mixture. So we have a team in place that most of them come from that world, so they're kind of moving into some of those roles. They had originally been working with us on the original United Readers program, but many of them came from more of the high school and adult education world, so they're moving right in.
Okay, and are the people that you're training, are they students? And then
Yeah.
you're training them to, that's
So
that's amazing.
the ones that are getting trained are going to be mostly young adults, but it's a little bit of a mixture of young adults. Every now and then we're lucky enough to get some people who may even be educators who are kind of at the end of their careers, and they want to do something like this for us too. But most of the ones that are going into the workforce development side of it, where they're getting trained in a career, they're in the younger adult category, or some who have left other careers.
So 16 to 21 and then retraining.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you
Kind
for
of
your
a-
presentation.
It's a little bit interesting because it's a dual, two groups of people who are getting services.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, Councilmember Dewar.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I just want to thank you for your services and those of your entire organization. In previous capacities and other places, I've been actively engaged in United Way, not here currently, but I've become aware of the great work that they do. Every organization, staffing, volunteer levels up and down, awareness of their mission and so on. But all that said, I appreciate what you do locally. I appreciate your involvement in the the fires in the past and the future and the current. And thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, Councilmember Eber, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, Councilmember Anderson's questions kind of made me wonder a few more things. Is this just specifically like job training, or is it any kind of other educational programs? I'm sorry, maybe I'm just not fully understanding.
Yeah. So I alluded a little bit to it. Two groups of our population get serviced, right? On one side is the people who are getting the job training, but on the other side, it's the actual clients that they're going to be seeing. So for our original United Readers, it was very young children from K through 3. But for both of these specifically for the Pathways Youth Mental Health Program, it's disconnected youth, which is the jargon for 16 to 29, that are not necessarily moving through the education system the way that we would like them to.
Okay, so they're getting job training, but not like working towards a college diploma or something like that?
Some of them we will be. It'll be kind of based on their needs. So some of them it'll be strictly youth mental health because they're pretty highly effective and they haven't been getting the services that they need. But for some of them, it will be going a step further to helping them to get their high school equivalency, their GEDs, and possibly take them from perhaps being one of the youth that we're helping, and then maybe the next year or two, moving them into one of these mentor positions so that we can get them trained in a skill that they can then go out into the world with.
Okay, so are they like completing classwork and turning it in? Are they being graded on classwork if that's the situation? I'm just kind of trying to understand, like, are they technically students? Is it a hybrid? Like, I'm not really understanding that part.
For the disconnected youth, they are still students in the various school districts. So we will be stationed at various high schools that accept us in, and then the counselors and administration will identify the students that need the supports.
Okay, so this is like at a high school supplementing what they're already doing, not in place of.
Right, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was having a hard time with that. I appreciate you guiding me through that. Thank you.
And to be clear, with everything with United Way, it's never to take the place of what others are doing. It's to enhance and lift up what everybody is doing.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, from my part, I'll just thank you for being here and being willing to share some of this information. I know the SAFE program in particular was being talked a lot about when we were talking about utility fees and franchise fees. So I appreciate your willingness to come on, but definitely exploring from what you've done with students that are K through 3 all the way up and building out the program out, I think it'll help you meet the needs of different constituency groups and people in our community. So I'm just really appreciative of you being willing to hear and you leading the organization, and proud to be supportive where I can. So thank you. Looking forward to the new space once you get over there and seeing how many people you can convene, because I've been at some of those meetings and there's lots of folks who you're able to coalesce around certain topics and make sure there's a robust discussion. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It'll be nice not to cram everybody into a very tiny space. So.
Yes. Great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Martinez, I do have another question.
Yeah. Councilmember Reber.
Yeah, so sorry. How do you identify school locations that you're going to locate at? And is there a way to request a consideration for a particular high school that you think might need some additional support?
Yes. So it's a little bit of us seeking out the schools, but a lot of times it's the school districts that tell us where to go. So we work closely with the school districts to identify which schools. It's interesting because it's mostly been the bubble schools at this point, because those are the ones that have less resources, even though they have identified needs. So many of the school districts have us go there, but some of the school districts ask us just go to every school we got. And the only thing that stops us at this point is money. So.
Okay. I do need, additional resources in my ward for so many things, but in particular, our North Valley's high school is really bursting at the seams, and we just don't have a lot of activities or programs for our youth out here. So if it's something I can request to just get looked at, the North Valley's high school would be great if we could do some training for our kids to get into better job placement or have different programs to get into. If that's something we could discuss offline or something, I'd really love to see if that's something that can happen for the kids in North Valley's High.
Sure. Yeah, we would love to as well. We've identified that whole area as one of our hotbeds of activity. So, and in the past, those schools have been one of the major or some of the highest concentration of our services. So I would offer that if you'd like, we can sit down with the superintendent and kind of have that conversation.
That would be fantastic.
And we could use the help too if you wanted to come.
Yeah, no, I would love it because North Valley's High is technically in the county, not in the city of Reno, but that's the only high school we have in the area. So all my high school kids in the ward go there. But then all the schools in the ward as well, they're all 1- and 2-star schools. So we need a lot of support in that area. So I would definitely love to set up a meeting with you. So I'll have staff reach out for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. With that, we'll close the item C1 and move on to item C2. I believe Manager Bradley and Director Wilsey are coming to give us a presentation.
Good morning. My binder just keeps filling with all of my stuff to help us get this plan ready for adoption today. All right. I'm Krista Bradley with the Office of Policy and Strategy here for the record. Today's item is the final step in adopting your FY27 through 29 strategic plan. We have had multiple kind of opportunities to discuss this plan over the past few months. So I'm excited that today really is that final piece before we move forward with implementation. As a reminder, this strategic plan aligns with all 7 of your strategic priorities. It is the mechanism in which we deliver your vision and mission of this city and the organization. Our planning process started back in March of 2025 when council had initiated me and our team to update the strategic plan and make sure that it was really representative of council's vision and what the realities of which we were operating with here at the city of Reno. Since then, we've done lots of different work together to make this plan a reality, including the October 2025 council workshop that we held here in Chambers, where council did approve the new priorities. So you might have seen over the past few presentations that staff has been starting to utilize those icons and the new priorities within their staff reports. Over the winter of 2025, going into this year of 2026, is when we actually drafted the sections of the plan and prepared them to bring them to this body for review and confirmation that we were on the right track. Between March and June, we had 3 separate items where council was able to discuss the proposed goals within each of those priority areas. And then this past summer in June, the drafted plan was sent out to the community for that final round of public feedback. As of the June 10th meeting, so that was the last time I was in front of this body, there were 7 priorities. You'll see here on the screen, they're all represented on that triangle. The direction that was given initially was that priorities 1 through 5 would be those areas of focus, the places where we would have more specific goals or projects identified to progress over the next 3 fiscal years. So that left us with those 13 major opportunity areas. I'll go through the next few slides a little quickly just because we have had the chance to talk through them. But the first is under fiscal stewardship. Council has identified there's 3 goals associated with that. Under legal obligations, we have 3 goals here. Under safe community, there are 3 specific goals. Under well-maintained city infrastructure, we have 2. And under access to natural spaces, there are 2. Now, there's been some places where we've received some common feedback over this planning process, whether it be from council, staff, community members, and there's places where maybe some common areas that we get a little confusion, or what does this word mean, or why are we using that terminology? And so we took that feedback, and in this final draft of the plan, we hope that we've kind of made some things more clear. The first was around the areas of focus. There was common questions about, well, why are we adding that yellow trapezoid shape? Why don't we have goals or specific projects within quality of life or in the government effectiveness section? Why not those? And we took that feedback, and I'll show in the next couple slides of what we've done with it. The next piece of feedback we've received is, where's sustainability? Sustainability is very important to the city of Reno. We have worked to progress that over the past few years. Seems like it was something that was missing from the plan. The third was around housing. Again, something that this body has made clear is a priority, but seemed to be missing potentially in your strategic plan. The fourth place where there was some pretty common feedback was around the term major opportunity area. What does that mean? Can we just use the term goal? All 4 of these places where we heard that feedback, I think, yes, let's make those changes and let's look at it today. So based off of that, here's what we are proposing as the final version of your strategic plan, which would be to remove that areas of focus boundary line. So remove the yellow trapezoid and just go straight to all of the priorities have a goal within it. Change from the term major opportunity area just straight to goal. We're all familiar with goals. It's a lot more common terminology, and again, adding those 3 in there. So that brings us to a total of 7 strategic priorities with 16 specific goals to progress over the next 3 fiscal years. You'll see on the top there that we are recommending 2 in the quality of life bucket and 1 in government effectiveness, which I'll go over in the next 2 slides. In quality of life, as I mentioned previously, there was a lot of feedback around where is sustainability and where is housing. We felt that those 2 areas fit nicely within the quality of life arena or priority. Specifically in the sustainability realm, that heat mitigation has been noted as one of the areas that is more causing more risk to our community than other places. And so this body has already adopted heat mitigation strategies into the master plan, but now we want to take more of a focus on what does that look like out in the community? Are we increasing shade in our parks? What does that look like? Really looking at our capital projects and community programs. The second is around housing. So of course, this body has taken many policies and programs in the realm of housing, both in affordable, attainable, the whole spectrum of housing, the missing middle. So this goal would focus on looking at all of the things that we've already currently done and doing an evaluation of what's working. Are we making sure that those things are having a meaningful impact in the community? In addition to this, it would be, there are potential new funding opportunities that we want to confirm that we have not missed any stones that could be unturned. Priority 7, so government effectiveness. Taking us back to when I did interviews with each council member, there was a strong wish or common theme, I would say, around where are the use of measures in the city of Reno? Can we utilize data more effectively? Can we understand the trends using numbers more regularly in the city? And so this goal is actually that in form here. That'd be around service delivery. So strengthening the use of measurement and data across the organization to help better identify those trends and improve service delivery to the community. As you'll remember, on the pyramid, government effectiveness does go on the left-hand side. And so what you'll see within this goal is that we'll be looking at use of measurement for all of those priorities. So how do we understand around safe community? How do we understand from well-maintained city infrastructure, et cetera? And so this goal is really complementary to all of the other ones. So assuming that today goes well, we would be proposing next steps as quarterly updates on each one of these priorities and goals, starting in 2027 to have an item coming to council, just a quick status update of where are we at on these goals, where are we at on progressing your priorities as a body, and making sure that that consistent feedback loop and framework is being pursued. And with that, the recommended motion is on the screen, and I want to thank you all for your work on this. It's been really, really fun.
Thank you. Yeah, Councilmember Dewar.
Yeah, thank you. I want to put a special thanks to both you and Callie for your work on this. This strategic planning stuff's hard. Many people think it's very loosey-goosey and what does it really mean and kind of want to dismiss it. And on the other hand, some people want to take it to the bank. Unless these words are on this page, we're not doing them at the City of Reno. So I think there's two extremes when it comes to, at least two, when it comes to strategic planning. I also want to compliment you on hearing what the council said at the last meeting and also what the public said. And to that end, I have one question and one recommendation. So on the item that deals with, one thing I would recommend is that you guys number your pages when you do your staff reports. That would be helpful. But there's an issue on infrastructure, well-maintained infrastructure. And I know I talked to you both about this term life cycle costs and looking at, and then I was assured, oh yes, the city looks at life cycle costs, but it hasn't been apparent to me that they have. And what that means is not just looking at the first cost to do something, but the cost to maintain something over the life of its life. And I think that that just as a practice or a uniform principle would help in infrastructure. So if you're going to build something, you need to be able to maintain it, and you need to anticipate that cost so that it's not an undue burden on the city and that we plan for it. Okay, so I don't see the word life cycle, but I know that you guys told me, well, it's sort of in there, but I don't really, here it is. I did find it. Thank you. I did finally find it. It's in the first one, life cycle analysis of all city-owned assets. So point taken. Thank you for acknowledging it. Okay. The last one is under quality of life. This is the first time we're seeing this and these details. And I want to compliment you for hearing us on housing and on sustainability. I would like to recommend one very small change, and that is the words on the page say, implement heat mitigation strategies by expanding shade. And I would say through trees and structures. And the reason I would say that is a couple-fold. First of all, it's in the legislation that directing us to do these things. It specifically calls out the use of trees. Secondly, it's threaded throughout our entire master plan that was done in 2017 trees are in there, and I think we'd miss an opportunity to continue highlighting their importance. And number 3, we're about to undertake, I believe, at least a crack at the tree ordinance, and I think it's important for everyone that we deal with to know how important both trees and shade structures, whether that's at the school district, okay, shade structures at the playground, or trees, whether that's in the use of materials in the playgrounds, that kind of thing. So I'd recommend, again, if we adopt this, to just make this small change, implement heat mitigation strategies by expanding shade through the use of trees and structures. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Reese.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I wanted to focus on the slide that has the pyramid and then the areas of focus. Yes, no, this is perfect. I suppose I want to have a specific conversation about the access to natural spaces, parenthetical, and then the goals related to the Parks District. And so help me understand more as a paradigm how we use the strategic plan to drive the outcomes we seek in a policy way. Because what I have observed is that this process has been incredibly complete by your team. It has been well done, well researched, and now you're going to have it go to us and we have to do something with it. And so I wanted to give you the opportunity to just sort of walk us through on one specific thing. And here I've picked this question about parks districts. I see Mr. Uliat is also here, and I may have to ask him a teased out question too if he wants to come up. But tell me how we might apply it in practical language.
Absolutely. Carissa Bradley for the record. So the Parks District is a great example of places in this plan where this body is going to have policy direction and leadership to execute, right? The Parks District is a good example that it may take a legislative change, which this body would grant us the kind of authority to go do and pursue down at the legislative session. So this particular goal was written to be, the Parks District is the goal, but we don't know exactly if it's going to be a boundary just around this or around that. But this new framework allows for directors like Director Uliat to come up and give regular presentations about the status of this goal. And there will be places for council to weigh in on should we pursue this option or this option. And those will be coming regularly. It's not a, I can't say on what date or what specific, but that's an example of that there will be opportunity for council to make those directions, and that's how this plan
So
will
let
be
me just see
utilized.
if I can summarize what you said and just confirm for me what I'm hearing. So this is the guidebook, the roadmap for how we get to the policy choices we'll make. Meaning I take the binder, I say, where does it align in our, you've called them now priorities and goals, and this is the focus so that we're not doing other stuff, right? Okay, I think that's an excellent choice. Mr. Uliat, can you just tell me with regard to the parks districts, so now you're a director out there running a very large portion of our city, and you now have this as the backbone from which to operate. How does that direct your activities?
Yeah, so for me specifically, and setting priorities means that we might have to say no to other things in the meantime, right? So for me, I know this is my marching orders from council to say, above all else, this is a priority because this is what sets us up for the future, right? And so I know I need to dedicate a significant portion of our resources, especially from a strategic perspective, to get these things done and to keep this moving.
Okay, and Mr. Vice Mayor, if I could just tease out one more part of that while we have Mr. Uliat. So what happens when two things are in seeming like there's some tension between them? For example, you and I had this great meeting last week about the river and some of the whitewater features and some ongoing maintenance needs. So while we have a priority focus on the priority as the access to natural spaces, the goals can be flexible and you work within them?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's part of the objectives, and it's one of the things we talked about with the Whitewater folks is that it's not about taking another piece of the pie necessarily. It's about creating a bigger pie. And so the Park District allows us to do that, right? And so bringing that back in is there's an objective within the creation of the Park District, which is to improve all of our outdoor spaces and accesses to them, which is the overarching goal. But a part of those objectives is our whitewater and our river space.
And in fairness to Mr. Vice Mayor, I wanted to use this as an illustrative point, but more, I was trying to surreptitiously get you to come to the mic because it is your birthday today, so happy birthday to
Happy
you.
birthday.
And so I've illustrated my point and also been able to embarrass you a little bit. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
There we go, 2 for 1. Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I think I'm piggybacking on what my colleague said, but, so I'd look at the first priority as financial, fiscal responsibility and fiscal stewardship. So that's the foundation. If we don't have that, we're not gonna be able to do anything above that. Second thing is we're gonna follow the rules. We're gonna, make sure that we have the money, that we're following the rules. And then the second thing, which I think is on slide 7, is priority 3, which is a safe community, which is where I'm sitting, my number 1 priority in the city of Reno. And to me, if we do not have a safe and clean community, we cannot do anything else. The one thing I see coordinated fire services, nuisance crimes, and coordinated dispatch services. Where do, boots on the ground in downtown and cleaning up downtown Reno come into this? I need 30 more cops in downtown Reno. Is that where this would be part of that safe community?
Carissa Bradley for the record. So under nuisance crimes, there's a little bit around data and the use, understanding kind of where the resources lie across the city. So that would be a place where Chief Solferino and his team would be able to come share some of the information with the body around the number of officers potentially and kind of the strategy we're taking to deploy.
So I've been kind of saying for the last 4 years, what a safe, people say, what's a safe and clean community look like? What do you mean? What does that goal look like? What does that goal look like to you? And I think I've expressed to City Manager Bryant, I have a very specific idea of what that looks like in our parks, in our downtown, and in our surrounding communities. And if we're looking at priorities, this is, after we have the foundations of money and we're following the law, this is really the number 1 priority of action from what this council has said. So when do we start implementing it? Councilman Reese was talking about that. When do we start hitting this? Is it during the budget cycle?
Yes, Carissa Bradley for the record. So many of these goals are already in progress, which is great. We wanted to account for things that have already been prioritized or discussed at this body. This plan is intended to be a living document that gets reviewed and evaluated each year annually, especially when it comes to the budgeting process. So Vicki and her team, when they come to present where we're at status-wise and what we want to prioritize, it'll all link back to these priorities and these goals as the first place where we would look at.
Okay, so when we're adopting this, we all have things that we are very passionate about, parks and sustainability, which are very important. But I think as a council, we're saying a safe community is our number 1 priority once we have the foundation. Perfect. Thank you. Great work.
Vice Mayor, for me. Thank you. Ms. Bradley, would it be appropriate to put the word reduce in front of nuisance crimes, given all of your feedback? Is that a shift that you could make to tell the story a little bit better about what we're going to be talking about in the nuisance crimes category? Does that work for you?
Chris Bradley for the record. That works for me. The goal language of that one has to improve our approach. I don't see why we couldn't. Well, it has also the word reduce incidents year over year towards the end of it. So we do capture that kind of essence.
Okay.
Unless we wanted to also add it to the header.
What about the word address?
Or address.
Eliminate.
Well, I want to give you a couple of statistics because we've been working on pulling some data. Last year, 127 individuals were declared in the Reno Municipal Court. So these are misdemeanors, nuisance crimes. They were declared incompetent. That's 1 year, I think it's 127, that those individuals could not tell right from wrong, and they could not defend themselves. And in the state of Nevada and here in Washoe County, when an individual is declared incompetent and they're charged as a misdemeanor, they are released. We don't have a restoration of competency program like you do for felony crime. So it's kind of a gap that we're looking at. The other thing, and just to give you context, is 52% of all cases at Reno Muni Court were nuisance cases in 2025. So it is an issue, and that's why we want to talk about it, because there are individuals who aren't getting the help that they need. And certainly, it's not contributing to a clean and safe environment when individuals are released and then recommitting the same offenses. So addressed is fine. I just am thinking, as I'm hearing you talk through it, is that there needs to probably be an action item, an action word in front of nuisance crimes.
Mr. Vice Mayor, if I just may, I think that it's up to the council to assign those priorities and resources. It's not, when I was at the HON briefing with Chief Solferino and looking at, I would say, sort of the depleted services and resources over the years, it's something that's got to be the number one priority if we're ever going to get here, which means some other things we're not going to be able to do. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Councilmember Anderson.
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Taylor covered my detail on the nuisance crimes area, so I will just use this little moment to say that it's been a real privilege to be a part of this process. I think the second meeting that I had with Callie and the first with you, I think I said to you, "Oh, I get to give you feedback on this?" It's a real privilege to work with your team, and you take our comments and our feedback and our ideas and our energy very seriously. And being able to see how it forms on a page and it forms on priorities for our city, this colorful graphic that we were looking at that Mr. Reese had you pull up, this is all opportunity for us. You know, these are really, really incredible opportunities for us to make a real difference in our community moving forward, and they will be measurable. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this process and for the work that you've done here.
Thank you. Councilmember Ebert.
Yeah, there's a couple things I want to just kind of touch on. One of them is regarding trees. There's a project, an RTC project on Military Road, where RTC and Khalil worked with, probably with Nathan as well, to replant some trees that were probably going to just be torn out as a part of the widening of the road there. But because they were small, they were only a couple years old, we were able to transplant the trees to other Reno parks where there was irrigation for them. We also have an upcoming widening on Moya where they're going to attempt to do the same thing. I don't know if this is a place to try and work on having that just kind of be something that we do. Like if there's trees that are able to be transplanted and they're going to be destroyed as part of a road project, that if the city of Reno kind of adopts them and finds some homes. I don't know if that's something Relief Reno can get involved with. Maybe they can help pay for irrigation to these trees as well. But I just wanted to call that out in case this is a place to kind of incorporate that. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, or if this is just not part of the goals. But that's something that's important to me, especially considering our tree canopy in Reno. And I just want to save the trees we have and increase beyond the numbers we currently have. And there were some larger trees that were too big to move, so they were replaced at 3-to-1, which I think is fantastic. I think we should kind of just have that as a policy, perhaps. But in addition to that, I think the Parks District sounds great in theory, but we have other examples of regionalization that's not working out quite so great for my ward. Like, I know that there would be more funding available for the region, but the list of projects also gets longer. And I know that my ward only has 4 parks out of the city's 83. But I don't think that a parks district would focus all of its energy bringing Ward 4 up to just be at the same level as the other wards. And I just want to be clear, I'm not looking for Ward 4 to have special treatment or have more parks than any other ward, but we are looking to be kind of treated equally with regard to resources. So I'm just a little bit apprehensive about that. I'm not exactly sure what the process would be to identify areas that need help with parks or creating new parks. But I'm just a little bit worried that it might not be as helpful to my community as we would like to see. Much like RTC, you know, we're sharing resources with the region, so everybody has to kind of wait their turn. So even if we're bringing in funds from all the development happening in my ward, or all the commuters buying gas, those funds are not necessarily going to be earmarked for road improvements that, you know, are needed in my ward. So I just want to kind of express my concern there. I don't know if there's a way we can kind of put guardrails on to make sure that distribution of resources is equitable, and what we would define as equitable, but just wanted to express my concerns on that type of regionalization. Just kind of call that out. So maybe my fellow council members, if they haven't considered that, might think about that a little bit as well, that their word also will be on a longer list for resources. But I did also want to ask, does this change anything in our master plan?
Councilmember Nathan Elliott, Parks and Recreation Director, for the record. I just wanted to briefly talk about the Park District and maybe use it as an example for the overall strategic plan. Right now, what's happening is the Parks District Service Plan, which is a required part of the state legislature for us to create a park district. That's been a proposed solution for 17 years and has just never been prioritized. So we're trying to find out now if that's the right answer. Ultimately, at the end of this, the answer could be no, that's not right for Reno. It's not right for the region. But we had to strategically explore that, and to do that, we had to take those steps. So there's still decision points to be made in those spaces. But as council provided direction through our master plan, the Parks, Rec, and Open Space Master Plan, this was one of the first objectives to accomplish. So I think it's a good example of we have to strategically prioritize what these proposed answers are. Otherwise, we'll never know. And it can be no at the end of the day, but we had to try to find out. And so that's what we're doing right now. There'll be a lot of information to come on the Park District, and we're right in the middle of that process.
Yeah, and that's understood. I'm just calling out that in this process, if this is what we end up doing, I hope that those are things that are considered and that there are, like you said, guardrails built into the process for that, so that there's not, inequities between different communities. So not that I'm directly opposed or anything like that, but just while it's being created, that's the time to make considerations for how areas are identified and prioritized.
Thank you, Councilmember Ebert. Madam Mayor, do you have any comments or questions? She's still on. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, Becca?
Yes.
Oh, thanks so much. This is a question for the city manager. I think, by the way, I'm impressed with everyone's comments. I think they're really thoughtful. I would ask our city manager, and it might be really hard to understand, I think that resources are really important in every ward, and, different wards look differently, right? Depending on population density, there's a lot that goes into each ward. But to understand a little bit more, to make sure that, there is that equity, to Megan's point, to make sure I would have to understand a little bit better about, how you sort of decipher that, and just making sure that every ward gets what they really need. I think that that is important. But I also want to be very, I guess, thoughtful if, you know, if there are things that we aren't doing that we could do when it comes to, you know, maybe this board, maybe a little bit more strategically, seeing the gaps in each ward. And I don't know if there's some way to truly measure that. And those gaps might be different in different capacities. You heard Councilwoman Taylor bring up her concerns, very, very valid, sort of same thing there, where maybe we're missing some strategic ways of identifying what those actually are in this plan. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but I just think to make sure that we're not overlooking different wards based on some of the inequities. So I don't know if that makes sense, but sort of where we can identify that we are lacking and where we have strengths. And I want to just say thank you so much to Kelly and her team doing this work. I think you guys have done a phenomenal job. Not to mention, I'm very, very glad about the sustainability aspect of it. I actually think that moving forward for the future of Reno, that probably should be a very large focus and separate document for community action plans. With Reno being the fastest warming city, I think this is going to become something that is absolutely necessary. And so I just want to put it on the radar because I think more and more we're seeing challenges in the environment. And just bringing in the community on that level and understanding, the city really understanding that it has to be a priority, because I don't think it's going to get easier. I think it's going to get a little bit more challenging. So, and then, you know, Councilwoman Taylor brought up some of her issues, and Manager Bryant, I'm glad that you brought that up. I think there needs to be a conversation with the county when it comes to the mental health resources. And listen, I'm not throwing shade at all. It's a system that was designed this way, but remember, that financial aspect of mental health is on the county side. So I think working with them collaboratively could be beneficial, but it is very hard to get resources whenever that funding does come from the county and not on the city side. And that's always kind of been challenging. It's actually very challenging in most cities. That's how it typically works, that structure of funding and resources when it comes to mental health initiatives. So I just think that has to be a lot of coordination. But I think everyone has amazing feedback, and I think you guys are doing incredible, Kelly and friends. You guys, I really appreciate you listening and being so thoughtful. I think it's very, very helpful, and I think there's a lot to be proud of moving forward. So thanks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, Councilmember Dorr.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Councilmember Ebert for identifying more specifically, I didn't get into the roads piece, but I do want to say that we are looking closely at roads when it comes to trees and planning some discussions with RTC on how they can better address the issues as they build our streets. You know, they often talk about complete streets, but actually if you look in the terminology and the lingo and planning, complete streets do include trees, not just bike lanes and not just bus lanes, for more ease of transportation because they're intimately tied to walking, and it's very difficult for people to walk in hot spaces. And I also wanted to mention that she mentioned, I think, Military Road, and my understanding is that many trees were lost on Military, at least 37, and that I'm not sure all of those were replaced. And so the reason it's important to discuss it here is that I heard through the grapevine, don't know that this is substantiated, so take it for what it's worth, but I heard that the city wasn't supportive of planting more trees there either because of the costs, cost of irrigation, cost of putting in the irrigation, cost of watering trees while they're being established, those kind of issues. And I think if we're to get really serious about the heat issue, which many are terming an existential threat, meaning it's that important, it's killing more people than a lot of diseases that we know of. It's often considered a silent killer. And so we do need to take it serious. And then one final, I guess, statistic. We've heard we're the fastest warming city, and this goes back to 1970. Apparently, on Earth Day 1970 is the day they began measuring going forward. And while we're the fastest warming at 8 degrees, the rest of the country's on average of 3 degrees of heat increase. Our summer nights have increased, per all the data they have, almost 18 degrees. So it's not 8 in the summer nights. And that's such a big change from here. Anyone who's lived here for a while knows that, like in the 70s, when I moved here, evenings would be 45 degrees. They're now about 65 degrees. It experiences like a 20-degree increase. And so I'm really pleased to see this issue being addressed both by the legislature and by our city council in our strategic plan. And I hope that when we're looking at costs, including life cycle costs that I mentioned earlier, that we understand that the cost of trees, while there's an upfront cost that RTC pays for, and then they hand over the infrastructure to us, just like we put in a policy to widen sidewalks so you could walk better from 4 feet to 5 feet. That meant RTC had to build 5-foot sidewalks, increasing the cost. When we've changed the amount of asphalt that had to go on a road, it increased the cost. And requiring RTC to build our roads that we have to own and maintain to a certain standard that includes trees, then I think we have to own it and do it. It's just what's going to be required. So I appreciate the opportunity to comment further. Thank you.
Councilmember Reese.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I wanted to just sort of understand some of the comments that have been made. First of all, I think the strategic plan is a living, breathing document. It is not intended to be used as a sword or a shield, but I think it ultimately is used that way in some practice, much like our master plan. But what I'll also say is, and I recall this from the conversation when we were doing redistricting in 2023, the ward boundaries change over time, right? If we really look at the number of parks, and you talk about parks that are city-owned and parks that are county-owned, there are lots of parks in what is now called Ward 4, right? Ward 5 is a historically older part of town. It has, I think, fewer parks, but it happens to have a historical pool in it, right, in Northwest Pool. And so the process, it would be interesting, and if you look on our City of Reno website at some of the mapping data that's used to make these things, it would be interesting to look at what the ward boundaries were in 1970 and where they were. Well, parts of this community were not built then, and parts of them were more county, some were unincorporated as we annex. So the idea that somehow parks no boundaries and some area of the city is underserved, I think is not historically accurate, nor does it bear itself out in a way that is meaningful to the use of a master plan or a strategic plan. And so for my part, certainly in my time here, which is now going on 8 years, we have made some very strategic investments in parts of this community, in part because they are under-resourced, in part because they have developed differently over time than other parts of Reno. Of course, the historic core, let's call it what used to be called Old Ward 1, had different community resources than, say, Ward 6, which did not exist. And so I don't think that we're going to bootstrap some conversation about equity into a plan like this. I think we all believe in the principle that our entire community is one community, and we work in the service of that community the best we can. And so, again, I think the presentational materials certainly identify priorities. When those priorities are used and weaponized in order to like secure some greater benefit or to believe that one's ward is, some draconian hellscape when it's not, I think it misunderstands the importance of the plan from a strategic planning purposes understanding. I think, too, Ms. Dewar made a good point about roadways. It will be interesting to do an analysis of where we are investing in roads. Sometimes certain parts of the community are receiving more structural improvements than others because they have larger growth patterns. Ward 5 is largely built out at this point. It doesn't expand its boundaries, and so it's not like receiving a whole bunch of RTC funds, right? But other areas where there is tremendous growth and there's impact on those communities are receiving literally billions of dollars in roadway funds in the historic, let's just say last 8 years and in the future 5-year period. So I want to make sure that we're focusing on the real issues and not creating issues where none exist.
Let me just double check before I.
Making a motion if you want.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to check online. Madam Mayor, do you have anything? If not, we'll jump over to Councilmember Evert. Yeah, Councilmember Evert?
I think
Yeah.
she's, okay.
I just can't say that I'm surprised, but continually disappointed by the representation of my ward and calling something a draconian hellscape because of a desire to have equity across the wards really says more about that person than my representation of the ward. I'd also like to point out that the 70s were 50 years ago. We're not building for the 70s. If that were the case, we wouldn't need to worry about the 11,000 people that live in Cold Springs that only have one access point in and out of the valley or the basin. We're building and taking care of the community as it exists today. So it's meaningless to compare it to what it was in the 70s. It's 2026. That's so ridiculous to even call out. I don't even understand what the basis for that comment was, other than to just try and minimize the issues that we have in my ward. And some of them I'll explain, and I'll talk slow so Councilmember Reese can understand. I have had people that want to make donations of trees, but because I only have 4 parks, I'm not able to accept them because I don't have enough park space or irrigation systems to plant them. So having enough parks matters. We only have a few locations. We're not able to have food truck events in the city of Reno Park because our parks aren't big enough. It matters. Having equity matters. Being dismissive of that is frankly appalling from somebody that used to be the at-large council member who's proclaimed to care about everyone in the city of Reno. It's incredibly tone deaf and really disappointing and totally emblematic about every vote you've made regarding Ward 4. So thank you very much for showing your true colors once again.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
If I may.
To be clear, Mr. Vice Mayor, and since Ms. Ebert wanted to refer to me personally, I am not the person who has referred to this as a draconian hellscape. The Ward 4 member currently calls it that with some frequency. At the end of the day, I've made a historical argument.
Please tell
It
me
is
when
not
and give
your
me the
turn to speak, Ms.
timestamp.
Ebert.
Please provide the
Councilmember
Ms.
timestamp of when I
Ebert.
called it a draconian hellscape. Please provide
Can
a
we take a
timestamp.
5-minute break,
Because
please?
at this
Thank you.
point, you're
We're going to call
slandering.
recess. Thank you.
And I was just.
Okay, perfect.
Madam
Yeah,
Mayor,
be
I
happy
had
to.
requested to make the motion. That's okay? Go ahead. Okay.
Hello, the meeting doesn't appear to have started.
What?
Are you making a motion?
Yeah, we're calling the meeting back to
About
order.
to.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Just letting you know, it wasn't showing the meeting yet. Thank you.
Thanks for the heads up.
Okay. All right, I would make a motion to adopt the FY 27-29 City of Reno Strategic Plan with the addition of the words "through trees and structures" in the shade section.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Good job. Congratulations.
Yay.
Madam Mayor, would you like to take over? Or would you like me to continue moving along?
the next item.
Okay, great. So we'll move on to our D items. We're going to start with D1, which is a presentation discussion on potential direction for our bill draft request for the 84th session of the Nevada Legislature. Director Will C.
We do need to open the public hearing.
Okay.
And then it was properly noticed and there's no correspondence received.
Thank you so much.
All right, Madam Clerk, just for the record. Thank you.
Mayor, members of council, Callie Wilsey for the record, your Director of Policy and Strategy. Today, this item is in front of you for discussion and selection of your bill draft requests. This is one of our first steps in preparing the body's actual policy agenda for the upcoming legislative session. This item today aligns with government effectiveness. However, depending on the direction that council chooses today and what BDRs they may go with, those BDRs may support other priorities that you have just adopted in your last item, such as well-maintained city or access to natural spaces, kind of depending on where we land. There's a whole host of ways that your strategic plan could be supported. We're less than 200 days away from the start of session. It kicks off February 1st for the 120-day race to the end of the biennial legislative session here in Nevada. But what's in front of you today is our decision for bill draft requests. The City of Reno gets up to 2 BDRs under state law. And those are due by September 1st. So we're here to discuss that in a public hearing, seek your direction on what you would like to submit, and staff will submit those by September 1st to meet that deadline. The first option that we have discussed was really brought forward to you by the Reno City Charter Committee. The Charter Committee completed their month-long review process earlier this year and recommended 6 amendments to the Reno City Charter. This was presented to this body in July by your advisory board. The detailed report of each of their amendments is attached. But in summary, there were 6 of them outlining changes to residency requirements for the city manager, how the joint meeting would go between the committee and this body, revisions to gender-neutral language, terms for legislatively appointed charter committee members, allowing for an assistant fire chief position as an appointed position, and the timing of the vice mayor position. If the body were to choose a charter bill option today, you could include all of these, a portion of these, you could amend these, or add to them as well. Another option that has been brought forward is to seek authority to extend redevelopment area 2 by 15 years. This expires currently in 2035. The recession significantly impacted property tax, stalling the collection of increment. And as we look at these areas, many of the same issues that we experienced when we set up the RDA still exist today because of that lack of funding and those issues that we weren't able to collect those increment because of the Great Recession. The fiscal analysis was presented to the RDA board in July, looking at that 15-year extension, and it was also supported by the RAB in June. A third option that we have discussed is staff has been collaborating with regional partners, as we talked about in the last item, and the community to study the feasibility of establishing a parks district. And as we've been going through that process, we've identified an important issue that will likely need some attention in state law. The way NRS 318A is written now doesn't allow funding from assessments, which is a key funding component in the law, to be used for operations and maintenance of our parks. And as we worked with the community through this feasibility study, they've shown a strong preference for maintaining existing parks before expansion. Without a change in state law, utilization and future consideration of establishing a parks district may be hampered. So you could seek a BDR that would allow Parks District's assessments to pay for maintenance in this space. So when you make the decision about whether to form a Parks District, you would have additional flexibility in that space and that tool in your toolbox. As mentioned, council may select up to 2 BDRs today. You could select one of these that we've discussed. You could amend them. You could direct staff to submit, or you could amend them, or you could direct staff to submit any other ideas that you bring forward today. Council may direct staff to submit others. You are also not required to submit any BDRs as well. You are just capped at 2. In front of you is the recommended motion. It does build in flexibility today, so you can identify what those topics are that you would like to move forward with. So council will need to identify their 2 topics, assuming you want 2 BDRs. Any specific deals you may want included if that differs from what was presented today. With that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you. I'll go to Councilmember Taylor.
I'm sorry, Vice Chair, I didn't have any questions. I was looking at the Parks District and RDA for I thought we talked about this at a prior meeting to move forward with those.
Okay, Councilmember Reese.
Yeah, that was sort of my recollection too. Ms. Taylor's right. For my part, a couple of things. One is, I do think that you've maybe truncated or specifically identified a shorter date. I think the RDA extension should be as long as we think it is necessary. I mean, we lost 20 years due to like recession, some fits and starts. So I don't know why, if we lost 20 years, we wouldn't just look to mirror the 20 years. And maybe that's just a question that I don't know enough about the appetite of the legislature. And if you're just being cautious, what is the thinking there about the length of the extension? It would seem to me that rather than keep doing this all the time, that we would be asking for a 20-year extension.
Sure. So Callie Wilsey, for the record, I might ask Ms. Turney to come up and talk about the specific years. From our perspective, we think the strongest position that we're in today aligns with the fiscal analysis that was completed. So we have the 15-year analysis. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't amend our own bill going into session as we look at those things. So that's why it's recommended from my perspective. But that 15 years was also built in to the reason why there was a 15 years was to cover that. So Ms. Turney, can you help me with that portion?
No, I think that answers the question, but maybe it, no, Ms. Turney, don't run off. Maybe it also answered a question that we had in an earlier conversation about the other redevelopment agency. I think I'm happy moving forward with the analysis, but I'm just suggesting that maybe the analysis should be done right now on the not just 15, but a 20-year extension, so that we're ready to go and people aren't asking, why are we changing mid-course, right? I know that we have to submit something pretty soon, and so it may be that we have to do that analysis behind the scenes so we know what it is. Maybe the experts would say it needs to be a 30-year extension. I don't know. I'm just saying that we lost 20 years. I'm trying to make up for that 20-year period. For my part, in terms of what bills are my priorities, it is the Parks District formation, as Ms. Taylor suggested, and also the extension of the redevelopment agency. Those are the 2 most important and align with the strategic priorities we just passed.
Thank you.
We will take that note. Ashley Turney, Assistant City Manager, for the record, and we can work on identifying additional analysis during this time. So we recommend submitting as a 15. We'll do the analysis based off of those points and previous ones that were brought forward, and then if we feel the need to amend, we'll let this body know.
Well, Ms. Turney, I suppose when we have sent some of the current TIF applications that are coming in, they're using the terminal date of the redevelopment agency as their thing, which is why the runway for many of the projects has not made it. I would like to make sure that we have the largest runway so that the most projects can make it in. And then is it Hunden who's still performing some of the analysis?
They're one of our 3 consultants that we've contracted with.
Because I do think that I've seen one of their reports that mentioned if the thing were extended, which means they are capable of running the analysis out from 15 to 20 years pretty easily. So I just don't want to hamstring us by the lack of thought about why we're doing it, which was the shortened and truncated life of the redevelopment agency caused by the recession.
Understood. We'll work on the numbers. Thank you.
Question?
Yeah, Councilmember Dewey.
Yeah, on the BDR, now, we aren't recommending for RDA 1, and I heard something similar, like we haven't done the analysis, but could we put the extension of both in one bill?
Yes.
Okay. And so if we're going to work on RDA 2 and look at the 20 years, could we be looking at RDA 1 for some period of time? And I'm not predisposing the time.
Yeah, Callie Wilson, for the record, we would recommend the same thing. So we could certainly move forward with the BDR for 15 years under RDA 2 with the caveats that we would look at a potentially longer for RDA 2, also looking at what RDA 1 extension could be and what that value would be.
Well-
And then we could have a discussion about that and what an amendment could look like.
I'd
as we
love
get
to see
closer.
that because RDA 1 covers like the majority of downtown. And, you know, it seems to have been our priority for a long time. And so it seems like, do we need to go to the legislature again with another bill, wait 2 more years? I'm not sure. So, or I would recommend not. Like unless it's strategic, like you think we could get 1 done, but not 2.
So I won't speak too highly of the strategy component, but I do think that there is some merit to your point, Councilmember Dewar. What we would recommend is start with 2, allow us to do the analysis, and then we can bring that back to this body for conversation in the future. RDA 1 has 18 years left, and we've not seen anything, not pencil yet. We've not had projects that have come in for that. So we would like to
I thought we had all these projects on the list, like 30 projects, and
Those are City of Reno capital
oh, you mean
investments.
individual projects?
That's correct.
Okay, I
looking at
understand.
developer-based TIF projects.
Okay.
So we would again recommend that we go do that analysis, and then if we see that need, then we'll look at the amendments later
Okay.
on. I do
All
think
right.
it puts you
Well-
in a stronger position going in with just RDA 2.
All
to
right,
begin with.
okay, well then that's fine. And if we have 18 years, well, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ebert.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had a question about, like, what kind of changes can we make beyond the expiration date? Because I know we need to make a fire station downtown, like that's way overdue. Is there a way where we could make adjustments to allow for the RDA budget to be used to completely build a fire station? Because it's my understanding that there's some limitations. Now we can't completely fund the building of a fire station with RDA dollars. Is that something that we could potentially address in the BDR to say, public works kind of projects for the city of Reno could be fully funded for, with RDA funds?
Councilmember Emer, this is Callie Wilson for the record. I would say we could look to see what language would be available that could help solve that problem. I don't know standing here in front of you today to be able to make that recommendation as part of the BDR, but we could certainly continue that research and similar to these other topics related to redevelopment, continue that conversation for potential amendments down the road.
Okay, because we're in a great spot where we're gonna be having revenue come in and, we need a fire station within the RDA area. I think it could potentially be a great tool to build a fire station without having to find funds in our general fund to pay for it. So it'd be really great if we could figure out a way to change it, to say, well, if it's a public building or for the public's benefit, like first responders, that we could use those funds. It's my understanding we could do like some of the infrastructure now potentially, but we couldn't build the whole structure with RDA funds. And I feel like that should be something that maybe we could add, unless there's a specific rule or law that just can't be changed on that. But I'd be very interested in trying to explore that as a additional funding mechanism for things that the city of Reno need, and that aren't, entertainment related or Parks and Rec related. Like, I can understand a lot of the guidelines in place for other facilities, but I think if it's like a police substation or a fire department building, that should be an allowed use. So those are my comments on that. And then also, I do want to make sure that we strengthen language that says that once somebody has a deal, like, that they can't change it. I don't know how stringent it is now. I know that people can come back and ask, and it would go another vote, but I'm not looking to change. Have somebody try and renegotiate their contract, you know, after the fact, or those types of things. So just really want to make sure that we're not creating any loopholes in the process of extending the expiration date.
Thank you, Councilmember Ebert. We'll go to Councilmember Anderson.
Yes, thank you. I'll make it quick. I support the extension on RDA with 15 years as a minimum. I think that's going to be a great investment in some of the additional projects that we can build in that area. And I am support still of the Parks Plan. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Councilmember Taylor.
And Mr. Vice Mayor, if we're ready, I'll recommend a motion to direct staff to submit the following 2 bill draft requests with the information provided for additional research on the RDA 2 extension and on a Parks District.
Great. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Close that item, move on to item D2, and let the record reflect that the council is opening the public hearing on item D2. Madam Clerk, was proper notice given and any correspondence received?
Proper notice was given, and we did receive 1 letter of opposition.
Okay. Do any of the council members need to make any disclosures? Okay, if not, we'll send it over to Mr. Shipman and Mr. Hall.
Thank you. Ordinance introduction, bill number 7340, case number LDC 26-00082, One Micah Place zoning map amendment, ordinance to amend Title 18, Chapter 18.02 of the Reno Municipal Code entitled Zoning, Rezoning, a plus or minus 14.92 acre site comprised of 2 parcels from general commercial GC to multifamily residential, 21 units per acre, MF21. Site is located on the north side of Moraine Way, 160 feet west of North Virginia Street, and has a master plan designation of suburban mixed use. 1.
Thank you. I believe we have a staff presentation. Mr. Foster.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I do not need a presentation. This went to the NAB and the Planning Commission, and I don't know if we have any public comment. Do any other council members need a presentation?
It doesn't look like it.
There's no public comment.
And there's no public comment, so we'll send it back to you, Councilmember Taylor.
Okay. If you could just move to the motion, that would be fantastic.
There's a motion on the last slide.
In the matter of the case LDC 26-00082, I move to uphold the recommendation of the Planning Commission, refer the bill for a second reading and adoption.
I'll second, and I can make all findings required of the general review criteria. First, that it's consistent with the Reno Master Plan. Second, it complies with Title 18. Also, that it mitigates traffic impacts. The change from general commercial to MF21 triggers less intense development and less potential traffic, and that it requires, it obviously has both a safe environment component and a rational phasing plan. With regard to is this the zoning map as well, Madam, or Ms. Taylor? I can make the findings also with the zoning map amendment criteria, primarily that the master plan suburban mixed use is intended for a mix of commercial and residential uses. MF21 zoning allows for the mix of residential uses and conforms to the master plan land use.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Aye, sorry.
Thank you so much for clarifying.
Thank you.
Yeah. With that, we'll move on to our ordinance adoption items. Item F1. Do we have any public comment on this item, Madam Clerk?
There is none.
Are there any questions, discussion?
I just had a question. This is for F1, right?
Yes, F1.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. So F1 is just the ordinance for annexation, and F2 is the actual zoning decision, correct? Who?
Good morning, Councilwoman Dorff. For the record, Mike Raley, Planning Manager with Development Services. That is correct.
Yeah, we had a question about this come up at our briefing.
Correct.
And it looks like you've made it more clear on these agenda items. Okay. So if we could take them separately, that would be helpful.
And I believe, Mr. Hall, you have to read something for the record.
Yep,
Send it
ordinance
over to you.
adoption, ordinance number 6745, case number ANX 26-00002, Ladera annexation, ordinance annexing to and making part of the city of Reno certain specifically described territory of 116.43 acre parcel of property generally located east of Interstate 580 and west of South Virginia Street, approximately 450 feet northwest of its intersection with Rhodes Road. Upon annexation, the subject site will have a zoning designation of unincorporated transition, 40-acre minimum lot size, UT 40, together with matters which pertain to or are necessarily connected therewith, Ward 6.
Thank you. Councilmember Anderson.
I move to adopt ordinance number 7337.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Yeah, and just for clarification, it's
sorry.
ordinance
I had a
number
discussion.
6745.
Oh, sorry, 6745.
I got you. Councilmember Eber, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a discussion. I know that this is an annexation and a zone change. Can we just explain real quick why we're doing this? That, why we felt it necessary to annex this property and then change the zone?
I don't know if Mrs. Picotti or Mr. Raley would like to address that.
Good morning, afternoon, members of the council, Madam Mayor. For the record, my name is Leah Picotti. So this application for the Ladera annexation accompanied the zone change and the master plan amendment. You guys saw this 3 weeks ago on the meeting on the July 22nd. We talked fairly extensively about that, about those different parcels and what was being changed. And this annexation was accompanying the zoning map amendment for that 80 acres of parks, greenways, and open space, and that small area of neighborhood commercial.
Okay, so was the zone change a requirement or annexation a requirement to change the zone?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so just wanted to get that on the record, why we have this process, and I'm sorry I wasn't quicker to say anything before the motion was in place, but just wanted a brief explanation about that process on the YouTube video where a lot of people watch. So thank you very much.
Not a problem, thank you.
Thank you. And I think we went through the process and voted, but just making sure we're clear on that, Madam Clerk.
I have a motion and a second, but not the vote.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. With that, we'll go to item F2, another ordinance adoption. I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Ordinance adoption, ordinance number 6746, case number LDC 26-00039, Ladera Properties Master Plan Amendment and Zoning Map Amendment. Ordinance to amend Title 18, Chapter 1802 of the Reno Municipal Code entitled Zoning, Rezoning, a plus or minus 161.2 acre site generally located on the west side of South Virginia Street, west of its intersection with Town Drive, and northwest of its intersection with Rhodes Road from plus or minus 116.4 acres of unincorporated transition, 40-acre minimum lot size, UT 40, and plus or minus 44.8 acres of industrial to 39.3 acres of neighborhood commercial, plus or minus 87.2 acres of parks, greenways, and open space, and 32.4 acres to remain industrial, together with matters which pertain to or are necessarily connected therewith, Ward 6.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any public commenters?
There is none.
I have a question.
Okay, yeah, Councilmember Dewar.
Yeah, sorry. Leah, could you just identify for us again what can go in neighborhood commercial? The type of uses.
Yes, so neighborhood, Leah Piccotti for the record. Neighborhood commercial uses could include things like offices, general personal services such as salons or things like that. It could also be a restaurant or a restaurant with alcohol service. Things that it wouldn't allow would be like a bar or any kind of industrial uses, any kind of heavy manufacturing, anything like that would not be allowed.
Okay, so, or even light manufacturing?
Light manufacturing would likely not be allowed unless it was some sort of like custom craft, like somebody,
Okay.
making something with their hands.
Okay, but what it doesn't allow, it's going from industrial, right, to neighborhood commercial.
Correct.
And I think, didn't you also tell us, though, that neighborhood commercial can include residential?
Neighborhood commercial can include residential, but it cannot include single-family detached.
Single-family detached is townhomes, or is,
Detached is
oh,
separated.
single-family detached?
Yeah, but it could include attached.
So townhomes, okay.
Townhomes would be okay.
Apartments, okay.
Apartments would be okay.
Okay, just not your standalone home.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, and they could change this later, too. I appreciate how much they've put into parks, greenways, and open space, identifying these are not appropriate for building on. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do any other members have any questions or comments? If not, I'll send it over to Councilmember Anderson.
Okay, I move to adopt ordinance number 6746.
Great. We have a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Great. With that, we'll move on to item F3, another ordinance adoption. I'll send it over to Mr. Hall.
Just for clarification, F2 ordinance number was 6747 and F3 is 6748. So ordinance adoption, ordinance number 6748, and ordinance amending Reno Municipal Code Title 12 Public Works and Utilities, Chapter 12.16 Sewer Service, Article 2, Section 12.16.290, Title Sewer Connection Fee Dwelling Unit or Residential Unit to add an extra specific connection fee rate for river mount together with other matters properly relating thereto, Sewer Fund, Ward 2.
I just want to clarify for the record, I thought that it was 6745 for F1, 6746 for F2, and 6747 for F3. So this is 6747. The last one was 674. Thank you.
So let's just be clear, because in my book, it says different numbers, and then they were changed again. Now we're maybe changing them again. So this particular one is 6748.
This one should be 6747.
47, I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
F3 should be 6747.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Do you want a
Sounds like we're on
motion?
the same page. Go
Yep.
right ahead.
Yeah,
Councilmember
I would
Dewar.
make a motion to, we've already gone over this, so to adopt, is it going to be bill number 6747?
Ordinance number 6747.
Ordinance number 6747 to amend Reno Municipal Code Title 12. And that's it.
Great. We have a motion and a
Wait,
second.
I'm a little confused. Can you
Yeah.
say what this ordinance is again? I got a little messed up with the number changes.
So this is to implement the program where they're going from septic tanks to sewer. and
Oh,
it-
that's right. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and it adopted a different rate, a connection fee rate.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, we have a motion and a
So I made a
second.
motion, second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Madam Mayor, are we taking a break at this time?
I think we're going to move forward. I do want to get to the redevelopment agency so that we can.
Madam Mayor and Mr. Vice Mayor, can we do item H3 and then go into redevelopment agency?
Yeah.
Is that okay, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, H3. So we'll move on to item,
It's not. I'm almost in the building. I might be in there. If you can give me 5 minutes.
yeah, I think H3 are,
Wait for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll move to RDA then. Okay? All right.
I don't know if Ms. Ebert wanted to wait for all of them, or was she?
No, we're
Oh,
gonna just move forward because
Okay.
she'll be here in a second. Okay, we're gonna start actually with the redevelopment agency, and I'm gonna send it back to Madam Clerk for item A2, roll call.
Yes, we are calling roll for the Wednesday, August 12th Redevelopment Agency Board meeting. Member Taylor? Here. Member Dewar?
Here.
Member Martinez?
Here.
Member Ebert?
Here.
Member Reese?
Here.
Member Anderson?
Here.
And Mayor Sheedy?
Here.
You do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Do you have item A3, any public comment?
We do.
Okay,
Carlos Reyna?
all right, Carlos, come on up.
Hi, my name is Carlos Elizondo Reina, and I'm here to bring up, I had three things, subjects. And the reason I am here because I already had talked to them more than once, RTC. During construction, Virginia Street, they should be stopping whatever bus stop is available because, the stop for Virginia line, stop for one. And it seems like the drivers, they do their own calls. They don't follow the protocols. They just say, I'm not stopping there. Just they do their own calls because that's not my stop, and they should stop, because it's very inconvenient. You have to go to walk from the next stop or go around back. And my next one is about Moana Pool. They do they do maintenance during business hours, and it's very inconvenient, you go there to use the pool, and they say all the pools are closed for maintenance. And, they do a water pressure around the edges of the pool, all that messy, stuff goes inside the water pool, And they should let the maintenance for during after business hours, Like I said, it's very inconvenient for us, we're paying the full price membership for use, and all the pools are closed. They open at, certain time. And my next one is about the Goodwill store, thrift store on 2424 Artie. They don't take pennies, and that's the manager, they came up with, because the register is still calculates the pennies, but, they just say you have to be rounded because we don't take pennies. And pennies officially, they haven't been discontinued. It's going to take, I don't know, long. They just talk on the news, They talk about discontinuing pennies, and that's going to be a long time, before they officially, be discontinued. But they don't take pennies. I don't know why. They just manager's idea. They don't call, they don't take the pennies. But the register still calculates the pennies. That was my last thing, and thank you for coming out so quick.
All right, thank you so much, Carlos.
There's no one else signed in.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. And then I believe we're at, do you have any changes I should ask?
I would recommend that you take off item B1, or you go ahead and just skip it, given that I don't see the chair here.
Yes, okay, so typically, we have been putting an update from the board on the agenda. I don't think that Wednesdays work for Mr. Klein, so I don't think that they work for Mr. Klein, so I'm going to work with him to try to figure out so that the body can get some of their feedback, so that that it's helpful to hear sort of their discussions and directions. But I would also say I want to thank Ms. Turney, because she is working on, at the request of some of them, and also some council members of a redevelopment summit. So we are all in the room coming up with priorities and what we want to accomplish together. And I think it'll be really beneficial, so.
Maybe today we can just skip the item.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Under this item, though, since Mr. Klein isn't here, when you do talk to him, perhaps another member of their board that maybe can make Wednesdays work could come and update us on what's going on, if that's possible. I don't know what their bylaws call for, or if this is even in the bylaw.
And I did ask them to identify someone else.
Oh.
And I don't think Wednesdays are good for them either. They're all really busy, have big jobs, and so I will see if they can put in a third, and we'll go from there. Because it would be really helpful to just hear them firsthand and not, I guess, assume or just think.
Okay.
Yeah. But I do think it's going to be really helpful to do a redevelopment summit with them, kind of like a strategic plan to hear what their priorities, they can hear your priorities, and then they can implement, and we can all implement together. Okay.
Madam Mayor, I had a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was it, I can't remember if they're scheduled to come every council meeting or one okay, thank you.
Yeah. I would like every council meeting, because I think they're discussing some pretty big projects, and
Yeah.
redevelopment is going to be a big one. So I just think that it's good to hear from them firsthand.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I just need to find what's the best way for their schedules to align with Wednesdays. Wednesdays is a little tricky. So, okay. All right, Madam Clerk.
Item C for chair and member comments.
Okay, any comments? Seeing that there are none. Any public comment?
There is none.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I have a motion to adjourn. I have a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. All right, now we're going to go back to, hold on one second. We could actually do item H3 if council members have any comments
I
or
have one.
announcements. Any comments or announcements, please?
I have one. I believe it is starting tomorrow. I put some of my council funds towards a new initiative, which is to help our community have bear and other animal-resistant trash cans. In our city, we only have about 200 of these kind of trash cans in play. There is a slight increase of cost between a regular trash can and a bear or other animal-resistant trash can, which is about $6. And yet, many people don't know that they are available or want to pay a slight increase fee. So what happened was NDOW reached out to me in Nevada Department of Wildlife, and they informed me that we have about 800 bears in all of Nevada, and almost all of them are located here in the Mount Rose Wilderness. And they are coming down into the city of Reno, particularly in Ward 2. So the areas most affected by bears are Lake Ridge, Collin Ranch, areas basically west of I-80, south of I-80 and west of 395. And it includes a couple wards, but in order to make this as broad as possible, I've worked with NDOW and with our sustainability manager to make these trash cans available to anybody who's had a problem with animals and who would like to get it. And I would pay through my money for a year of the can. At that time, they would either have to decide it was worth it and pay the extra $6 or not. There would also be a public education program associated with this. I have sent our staff a copy of where the bears exist and where the bear sightings have occurred. They're mostly along the Last Chance Lake and Steamboat ditches and in Collin Ranch, and that's where most of them are. And so as part of this as well, Suzanne Groman, our sustainability manager, has committed to meet with Waste Management and look at not having a disparity in cost of these trash cans. Maybe lowering the cost of these cans, maybe increasing the cost of the other cans $1, or making them all the same. There's so few of these, and there shouldn't be a disincentive. So this program is coming at the request of NDOW, And at the point that they contacted me, I did have some funds available at that time, so I'm putting them to that. So I wanted everyone to know that it's going to launch. You may be, especially on Nextdoor, I've seen a lot of reports of bear sightings in people's yards or on streets. So it's very timely. This is the time they're thinking about storing up food and going into hibernation. And because of this challenge with the warming of our climate, fewer bears are actually going into hibernation, and they're staying active all winter long because they can get food out of trash cans and stuff. So that's what it's all about. I didn't want people to be surprised. I wanted you all to know about it and encourage your residents, if appropriate, to apply.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Good work.
Thanks.
All right,
I have a
Councilwoman.
question.
Yeah. So is it like an annual fee people pay to have these?
They
or-
pay a monthly fee of about $6 more for their trash
Okay.
can.
Okay, so it's on their waste management bill, or?
Yep.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And what happens if they're like, I haven't had a bear in a year? You just say, come and get your box, or what?
No, because it's good for also other animals like
Yeah.
raccoons, coyotes, et cetera, but it's really the bears that are the biggest.
Yeah.
And so anybody, like, let's say you move, you're not paying for waste management. New person moves in, they're given an option of getting a bigger can, smaller can, more animal-resistant can.
Yeah, because I'm curious if it'll start changing behaviors of animals out there, if they're like, oh, we can't get anything.
We can't
so
get
move
food.
on.
We're hoping they don't come down, because what they do is they become problem bears, and then they could end up having to be relocated or even euthanized.
Yeah, we don't want that.
And most people do not support that. Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, I did want to recognize, because it's been a very, very stressful last 4 or 5 days, as everyone knows. And the city of Reno is assisting Washoe County in the catastrophic bug fire, now merged with the stallion fire. I want to say thank you to all of you. You guys have been working hard and providing resources, and I want everyone to remember that the city of Reno does provide evacuation facilities and services, and that's really important. And also, if you want to share any information, it's I think one of the best sources is emergencywashoe.com. And one of the things that we are seeing is that people are so incredibly generous and wonderful, but they tend to just drop off things at fire stations, and we want to make sure that those resources are going to the best possible use. So on emergencywashoe.com, they have places where they would ask that you donate specifically, but I'm really grateful that all of you have had such, you guys have all jumped in and are, helping where you possibly can. This is obviously a very fluid situation, and we're just, wanting to send so much support to our first responders, our firefighters, our dispatchers, everyone on scene, our volunteers. We even have people there from Clark County, I believe, Las Vegas. I mean, everyone, we have a national federal team that's now in service, and it's just been amazing that, the work that everyone is doing together. I just can't even imagine how hard it is. Brandy would know how difficult it is for everyone on the ground, and how, stressful, but they're doing amazing. And I just want them to know that the city of Reno has, so much gratitude, because they have such a tough job. I can't even imagine. And then also, so many of you that have reached out to say, how can I help? And I would just stress that you want to, if you're going to donate money, particularly just maybe the Red Cross, very reputable sources, because we do see people in times like this, unfortunately. We see phone calls where people will say, I'm with so-and-so, and please donate money. So be very, very careful that that it's a reputable source, because we have seen some of our seniors be taken advantage of. So I could just stress that, ask people to donate to reputable sources. Again, emergencywashoe.com. And again, the city of Reno is helping assist, but it is Washoe County's jurisdiction right now. And so we're just doing whatever we can to support. So I just want to thank all of you guys, because all of you have been calling and saying, what more can we do? And you've shown up at evacuation sites, and Jackie and JW have just been really on top of everything, along with the county. And And we were just there, Lombardo had a press conference, and the sheriff, just everyone is jumping in and doing absolutely what they can. But our hearts also go out to those that have to evacuate. That is so stressful, so stressful. And their animals come into play, their children come into play. And then, as you know, some schools have had to cancel. So it's a lot for people going through that. So just remember that it's such a stressful time. The other thing I was really impressed by, I want you guys to know this, is that because it's something that you guys supported, and now I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you guys supported and funded it. And that's the team that came here to provide mental health services to first responders. And they were out there on scene providing mental health for them. And I thought that was really amazing. And so you guys should be proud. That's because of the funding, and he told me that. That's because of the funding you guys as a council supported and were, so generous with. So good work. But we'll just, we're watching closely, and we're just asking for the weather to cooperate, and just keep everyone in your thoughts and prayers. It's always stressful this time of year because it's so hot too. So I just want to say thank you to all of you guys. You guys have all been very, very supportive. So thank you, thank you. And that's about it. I think we have, am I right? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I just want to say, as a representative closest to the fire, my kid's school's still closed, and we did evacuate for a night, and we're very fortunate that the fire's moving more east, but we're really just kind of at the mercy of the weather. If it starts blowing south again, we're likely to have to evacuate again. So it's just incredible how quickly things can change with the wind and how fast fire can move. And it was a really stressful time, not just for me personally, with my family, but I received just an incredible amount of calls from people that were in the evacuation areas that didn't know what to do, people that were in Cold Springs that said both directions of the 395 were closed and they did not know how to leave. I think that's something that I've talked about. It's not comparing it to a hellscape, but I think that we are going to have a major tragedy there if there's not additional access roads put in there. So just, speaking that out again, that we need to have additional roads for people to get in and out. And I know that City of Reno requires multiple access points for fire departments to get into different types of development. And I think that it's fair to say that the residents out there deserve the same type of infrastructure to leave. So not all of them are City of Reno residents. It's kind of a patchwork out there, but I think we all care about the community. And I know, Hillary, you've shared that when it's a fire, everybody just works together. It doesn't matter your political party, if you're friends or not, you help your neighbor. So just want to make sure that we keep this in mind and that this kind of thing can happen pretty much anytime, especially with our drier climate and hotter summers. So just want to, again, keep that top of mind that there's a real necessity for additional infrastructure in that community.
Yeah. And I know it's been stressful for you because we spoke, so.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
bless her heart. I do want to mention a couple of things because I tend to get the same questions over and over again. And one of them is for our elderly who need oxygen. And I want everyone to be very aware that your area could possibly be experiencing power outages. If that should happen, NV Energy has a program, it's called the Green Cross. And if you are on, oxygen or things that require power, to please sign up there. They have a program for that. And so I would just stress that enough, especially many of you, because you work in a lot of elder care services, that everyone direct people to sign up for that. I think that that's really important. I want to say thank you to the Reno Police Department. They are doing a lot in assisting road management, and it's been, it can get very stressful because, everyone's trying to leave at the same time. And so the Reno Police Department, I just want to say thank you to them. And I did sign an emergency declaration for them yesterday because we are putting more resources there, and I want to say thank you to the city manager for doing that. That really is helpful. I know that I've just had a lot of feedback on how grateful people are to have that assistance. And then I do want to recognize Clara Andriola. She is the chair, as you guys know, of the Washoe County Commission, and she calls me several times a day. So there's a lot of communication there, and we're leaving. I think the experts, especially, we have the fire chiefs all there. There's a lot of people there, and so we're doing everything we can to not be in the way, but get them what they need. So, but I want to recognize her, and I appreciate her. And I think she was going to reach out to you.
She did call, but it was during council. I also wanted to say what a great job all the firefighters did. I had people calling me after they were out of danger in the Cold Springs area and describe how the firefighters diverted the fire from homes. And they were just incredibly impressed, like really, truly. They were like, they did such a great job, how they set a boundary, and it was nighttime, so they couldn't see exactly how they were doing it. But, the fire went from coming at their homes to going around them. So they did a phenomenal job, and I could not imagine being out in that heat with 50 pounds of gear on and
very difficult
walking in a fire essentially. So just my hat goes off to them. They're absolutely incredible. So yeah.
Very, very difficult. Okay.
Madam Mayor, also I wanted to acknowledge, it sounds like there's actually an in-person meeting. We discussed it yesterday, but in-person meeting today, I think. Do you know about that, Manager Bryant?
Yes, it's today at 6 o'clock. It's O'Brien Elementary, if I have that right.
I think that's fantastic, because I know when we had the Davis Creek fire, that so many people appreciate an opportunity to come together, see others that were interested or affected or.
I agree. I think it's in the update I sent this morning, if you'll double check.
Yeah,
You know what time?
6 p.m.
6, okay, thank you.
Okay, at this time, we are going to go into recess into attorney-client, and then we will come back and finish our agenda. I don't know, I would say 30 minutes. Yeah.
What, 1:30?
Actually, it's probably going to be 45 minutes.
1:30?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So let's do, what time is it, 12:30? We'll come
it's
back at-
it's almost quarter of, so are you saying 1:30?
1:30. Okay. All right, we will be back.
Time to get it and get ready.
All right. Madam Clerk, will you please put on the record, we are now back exactly at 2 o'clock, like the time we said we would be. Sorry about that. Apologize. Lots going on. We're just all trying to stay on top of developments on the fire and all these things that are happening around us, so.
Madam Mayor?
Yeah, we're gonna, hold on one second. We're
Okay.
gonna go into item H1 and item H2.
Madam Mayor?
Councilwoman Dewar?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion on H1.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Madam Mayor, what I would like to do is to continue this item until September 9th council meeting.
All right, so I have a motion from Councilwoman Dewar. I will second.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
I have a comment, Madam
yeah.
Mayor, sorry. Just to clarify, Mr. Shipman, if H1 is postponed, I'm missing the wrong wording right now, but if it isn't spoken about until November or September 9th, does that negate any conversation or discussion or approval or denial of H2?
Yeah, generally it would moot, if you're to go forward on H2, it would generally moot H1, yeah.
But his question is, does a motion on H1 that I just made moot H2? That was his question.
Oh, no, it does not, no.
So today, both things could happen potentially. There is a extension or reconsideration of the H1 on September 9th, and H2 could pass today.
Correct. That H1, say that again, that
I guess.
you could continue H1 and then you could pass H2. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and legally, as our representatives in this matter, wouldn't that give you contradictory directions?
I understand.
And you just want to agendize it later.
Yeah,
right?
probably it would make that item moot, the continuation moot, because you would have already terminated for convenience pursuant to the other item.
It's very confusing.
Point of parliamentary procedure, I thought Ms. Dewar opened items H1, or Madam Mayor opened H1 and H2 at the same time. Where
Nobody
H1
opened anything. Dewar jumped in and wanted to make a motion on H1 to continue it. If that motion passes and H2 passes, then H2 takes precedent over H1.
Okay.
Did we open the item then?
The best thing, it's open. So we are going to, I have a motion, a second for discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed.
Motion fails.
Okay.
And then, and you were no.
I was a no. Can we do a roll call vote?
That would be a good idea.
Yes. Councilmember Taylor?
No.
Councilmember Dewar?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
No.
Councilmember Ebert?
No.
Councilmember Reese?
No.
Councilmember Anderson?
No.
Mayor Sheeby?
Yes.
It fails.
Okay. All right. Then, am I correct, Jonathan? We would go into item H2?
Correct.
Okay. Then at this time, may I get a motion for item H2?
I am prepared to make a motion.
Okay.
I move to remove and discharge the current city clerk, Ms. Huntsman, from office without cause in accordance with City Council Resolution Number 8351, subsection 5.
All right, so
If any council member endeavors to have a discussion on the item implicating the character and alleged misconduct of a professional competence of Ms. Huntsman, that is not what we're discussing today. When I requested this item, it was not my intent that council would be discussing the character, alleged misconduct, or professional competence of Ms. Huntsman. Legal has advised us that we are not agendized to discuss those matters, and I will not be a party to those discussions. I would appreciate it if my colleagues would stick to the agenda and vote up or down on this motion I've offered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I have a motion. And a
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
All right, roll call?
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Councilmember Dewar?
No.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yes.
Councilmember Ebert?
Yes.
Councilmember Reese?
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Sheeby?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, now we're going to head into item J, I believe, closing public comment. Do you have any public comment?
Yes.
Okay,
Timothy
thank you.
Burns?
Hello.
Hello.
You've been so patient,
Thank you.
and I like your Pokemon shirt.
Appreciate that. I just, my first city council meeting, just came here to get involved. I just wanted to kind of introduce myself. I'm a member of Ward 1, apparently. Just learned that today.
Oh, good.
And some issues that I'm particularly I care about would be trying to keep Reno affordable by preferably focusing on relaxing zoning laws and allowing building, particularly mixed use, to keep things like walkable and stuff, especially in Ward 1, which is already kind of that way with mixed use, especially in Midtown. Really nice to just be able to walk and have businesses next door. I know not everyone wants that. Every ward should be different, at least in some regards on that. And not everyone's the same, but I do think we need to get a lot more dense housing, especially in the downtown area. Yeah, I was really pleased about the motion, sorry, I am autistic, so.
No,
this is
you're
my first
fine. Take your
so,
time.
But
You're doing great.
appreciate that, thank you. Yeah, so certain things I do care about, like mental health and stuff, I know this isn't the place, you can't really do anything here with it to like help with that, but I do think we do need to do more about mental health.
Amen.
Exactly, like I have autism, and it makes, certain things difficult for me. And yeah, just keep things down, keep building more stuff, and one idea I had with like walkability in downtown, if we could get like bike racks to be put along the downtown, particularly between West and Sierra on Second Street, over by like what is it? Trying to remember the stuff, over where like the library and the West Center Street Bar.
Yeah.
Lots of scooters there every day, or especially on the weekends, very trippable. Just get some bike racks might help fix the problem. Maybe put some along Virginia in front of like some of the casinos, like in just sort of in key areas.
Yeah, I love it. You're going to be excited because we are getting ready to do a nice, well, I don't know, are we calling it a cycle track? A bike initiative, a micro-mobility initiative.
Nice.
So we're downtown, so you're going to, coming to a city near you.
That sounds great. Yeah, I just wanted to get involved. Here, this is the best way to get the government to listen
Love
to you.
it.
So I gotta
Yeah.
show up.
You have to apply for the Neighborhood Advisory Board, Ward 1, okay?
Didn't know that was a thing.
Yes, it's a thing, and then the other thing I'm going to recommend is you should join RCI. Right? You will love RCI. The clerk can help you sign up for those things, and especially if you want to get involved, it goes through how the process of the entire city works, and people just rave about it, so you're going to love it. But ask the clerk, let her know you want to apply for RCI. It's kind of like our school of government, so you get to hang out in cool places.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right. Thank you for coming. Okay, the last one, I'm going to ask for a adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right.
Did we already close redevelopment?
We already